Tactical choice. 15, it's just to the outside of the main gate there, so he's got a little breathing room, and it's going to be interesting to see the post relationship between Smarty Jones and Lionheart, the other key speed.
Let's try to find out what was the decision making in going just outside the break there, Janine.
Well, John, you could have gone a little further inside, but there are some other speed horses that are now further inside of you. So what was the strategy behind going to number 15?
Well, it was a little bit of that. We thought maybe we'd force the hand of the speed horses to try to go inside of us, and we liked the idea of being the first horse in the auxiliary gate and giving us a little more room, you know, so we don't get squeezed off early on.
Now, this is such a Cinderella story for all of you. Are you and the Chapmans and Stuart Elliott just pinching yourselves to be here?
Yeah, I mean, we're tickled to death to be here. It's a dream come true, and we're all living it, and we're having a great time.
Now, this horse's works have been extremely fast, lately especially. Has he always been that great of a workhorse?
Yes.
He has.
He's always been a good workhorse.
Now, what's his best quality, quickly?
Winning.
Well said. Dave?
There is his,
the only jockey ever to be aboard Smarty Jones, going to the winner's circle every time Stuart Elliott will ride again. Next up, and it's number 12 in the process, Start the Clock, Read the Footnotes, trained by Richard Violet Jr.
Well, if you believe in the bounce factor, Fountain of Youth, bounce in the Florida Derby, then there's the bounce back.
That's what they say, and of course we all expected, most expected, Read the Footnotes, to be a little bit off form in the Florida Derby, and there he is, Rick Violet choosing 14, the far outside post in the main gate, again with that little gap in between.
Robbie Alvarado, who was the regular rider of Mineshaft, last year's Horse of the Year, has been named to ride Read the Footnotes. And next up is number 13 in the process, another one trained by Nick Zito. It's Birdstone, Start the Clock, trained by Nick Zito.
That's right, he has two in here. Very big disappointment in the Lane's End at Turfway. Goes for 13 right here, Randy.
I guess Nick isn't terribly superstitious. He takes a penny and puts it in each pocket. That's about the only superstition he says he has.
Walked under a ladder on the way in here.
Yeah, so 13, fine post.
And a winner of more than 3,500 races, jockey Edgar Prado will ride. And in this segment, the last horse that we're going to find a spot for in the starting gate is Lionheart, trained by Patrick Biancone.
All right, Randy, if Lionheart has so much speed, why not just dump inside, take off, and gun it?
Interesting. Biancone chose an inside post in another Kentucky Derby draw just last year with the
He
horse
doesn't
that you
listen.
were particularly fond of. He faked us there. There we go.
Going from the 3, you see him flooring it right from the gate, right?
Right. Now,
Mike Smith, a 10-time winner of Breeders' Cup races, sitting next to Patrick there, will be aboard. So, well, we've got 14 of the 20, Kenny.
We got 6 more to come. Find out how the rest of this field fills out. Patrick Biancone going to try to gun it from the 3 spot with Lionheart. Stay around. We're in Louisville for the 130th Kentucky Derby. Back here at Churchill Downs Museum, leaving the 3 on our little pan across the starting gate. Randy and Patrick Biancone put Lionheart in the 3, which makes sense with all his speed, but there's some history behind this.
well, he could have chosen 16, for example, and been just to the outside of Smarty Jones, but he doesn't mind inside post positions. Last year, he had the 6th pick with Borrego, and he chose post position number 2. Brancusi, excuse me, not Borrego.
I think Brancusi and Lionheart, absolutely different horses, though. We're going forward here. The last group, 6 more to come to the podium. Castledale, a bomber at Santa Anita Derby, paying off big, bred for the distance. This one should have a big run on Saturday.
Tapit needed a big effort in the Wood Memorial to get into the Kentucky Derby field. He's the least experienced horse in the race, and he got it with a victory. Ramon Dominguez in the saddle for this one.
Everyone wanted to run in this Kentucky Derby. Pro Prado had to get some help to make the race. When preaching at the bar scratched out, Bob Baffert didn't want to go forward. There was a little more room.
Song of the Sword also needed a defection to get in, and he got it. Song of the Sword finished 2nd in the Illinois Derby behind Pollard's Vision, 2nd in the Lexington behind Quentin's Gold Rush.
Limehouse has to pick 19th. Jose Santos up here. He was on the winner last year. Funny side, trying to be like Eddie De La Houssaye in 82 and 83, the last jockey to win back-to-back.
And speaking of Quentin's Gold Rush, he was the last horse to make it in the field earnings-wise by this victory in the Lexington, but wasn't treated so well in the selection order. He has the very last selection, number 20.
I see him in the 1 spot. Dave, the final group, 6 of them.
We start with number 15, and Castledale is the horse. Start the Clock. And one of the owners, in fact, the guy who picked the horse out of the sale in Europe, who bought the horse, Frank Lyons, I understand, is going to, thought he was going to come up.
It's actually Greg Nee, the other owner there, and there you see he's got the choice inside, outside, 1, 2, 3, or 16, 18, 19, or 20. 16 for Castledale. Again, a stretch runner. Not that important.
16 has won 3 times in the last 25 years. Did you not know?
but the post position for horses that come from off the pace like that is not that much of an issue.
Janine now.
Frank, this horse won a stake on the grass in his first start for you. What made you try him on the dirt?
His good trainer, Jeff Mullins. I thought he was no way he was a dirt horse, but when he worked him on the dirt, Jeff said his horse worked really well on the dirt. He said, in fact, I think he's worked better on the dirt than he has on the grass. So we continued working him on the dirt, and lo and behold, he's right. He is a better dirt horse.
Well, we'll find out Saturday, too, won't we?
We sure will.
Good luck. Dave?
Jose Valdivia, who won the Santa Anita Derby, will be back aboard. Number 16 in the process is Tappet, trained by Michael Dickinson.
Well, he has his Guinness. Is it Guinness that the horse drinks?
And eggs, organic grass that he eats.
But this guy knows how to do it. He knows how to lay him off and come back. Just 2 starts this year. He'll go from 18 with Tappet, who should be running late.
And he is, of course, Dickinson is quite a student of the game, and you can bet that he underwent a detailed study of post positions before he got here.
Janine got to go to the farm out in Maryland and see a workout.
That's right. It was quite an experience. Michael, before the Wood Memorial, you told us you would be over the moon if he ran 3rd or 4th. So we need to ask you, where are you now?
Well, he wasn't 100% fit going into the Wood, nor was he 100% healthy. So he's going to be a lot fitter on Saturday. I hope he's healthy. I've got a lot of confidence in his ability. I did say before the Wood I'd be happy with 3rd. I'm not going to say that today.
You're not happy unless you win Saturday, is that
Well,
it?
I hope so, yes. I'm cautiously optimistic. But mindful, it's Ramon Dominguez, it's his first Derby, and it's my first Kentucky Derby, and it's Tappet's first Kentucky Derby.
Now, have you drawn up a map, a diagram for Ramon, similar to the one that you gave Gary Stevens for DeHaas in the Breeders' Cup?
No, this isn't a turf race, though. We haven't, no.
What's the difference, though? Doesn't he need a map or no?
Well, I could send Joan around the track in high heels to measure the depth of the sand.
All right, thanks. Good luck, Michael. Dave?
And the jockey who won more races last year in the United States than any other, Ramon Dominguez, will be aboard. 17th in the process. We're getting near the end. Here's Pro Prado. Start the clock.
Pro Prado's shown lots of ability in the spring. One of those who's kind of like the next one, knocking on the door, trying to do one more big thing. Here's his chance.
Finished 3rd in the Arkansas Derby. There is his trainer, Bob Holthus, who's on a 16-year plan. 72, 88, and now 04 with his Kentucky Derby starters. And he will go outside to 19. We have 1, 2, 3, and 20 that are left.
Dave, the final selections here now.
And John McKee, 22-year-old, who was the leading rider of Oaklawn Park. He'll be aboard. He's been aboard for all 7 starts. 18th in the process, and it's Song of the Sword, trained by Jennifer Patterson.
All right, Randy, the 2nd female trainer, becoming the 12th female trainer in the history of the Kentucky Derby here. Where do you put the horse?
Well, obviously, the 3 has been taken. 1, 2, and 20 are the options there. And rather than go to the far outside, she will go just to the inside of Lionheart to post position number 2.
2 to go. It's 1 or 20, Dave.
And the leading rider in New York in 2000, Norberto Arroyo Jr., will be breaking from the 2-hole with Song of the Sword. So bookends here, and 19th in the process, Limehouse, one of 2 choices, and there's Cot Campbell, a representative from the Dogwood Syndicate. Cot?
Well, if they try to run to the front, you either have to gun from the rail inside, and that's where they're going right there.
Not the choice Cott wished he had going into today, but number 1 for Limehouse.
And the winner of last year's Kentucky Derby, jockey on funny side, Jose Santos, will ride Limehouse from the rail. And there's only 1 spot left, so let's see where Quinton's Gold Rush will end up.
This is the equivalent of a walkover.
Oh, the drama.
They're bringing 2 people to choose 20. No, yes, they are.
There's Satish Sanad and Jay Manoogian,
What if
the
they get
co-owners.
in a huge argument about where to put it? That'd be interesting. 20 it is. 20 it is for Quinton's Gold Rush, who was very, very impressive at Lexington. That there is your Kentucky Derby field for number 130. Another interesting aspect is betting. We're going to find out where they place the odds, who's placed where, who's the favorite, who's the long shot. There's going to be some surprises from Louisville. Welcome back to Louisville. They're set for the 130th Kentucky Derby. If you want to win a bunch of money but not wager, you can win $5 million. KentuckyDerby.com. All you have to do is select the precise order of the race, 1 through 20. If you think that's difficult, study the form harder. $25,000 to the person who gets the next most. Now let's go to another difficult assignment, setting the line. Dave and Mike Battaglia.
My colleague Mike Battaglia is the morning line maker here at Churchill Downs, and for the 30th year, he will start the prices for the Kentucky Derby. Mike, what was the challenge this year?
Well, actually, there were two challenges. Who to make favorite? Was it going to be the undefeated Smarty Jones, or was it going to be the Cliff's Edge? And the second was, how do you separate these California horses? They are really tough.
Okay, well, we've got them in there, so let's take a look at the 20, and you give us your starting line price for each of them.
All right, Dave, starting off with Limehouse, breaking from the rail, 30-1 on Limehouse. Down along the inside, going to show some speed. Song of the Sword, another horse at 30-1. Lionheart, I expect to set the pace, 10-1. Action This Day, 30-1 on the 2-year-old juvenile champ, and 15-1 on Wimbledon, the Louisiana Derby winner. And in the next group, we see Friends Lake. Hasn't raced since he won the Florida Derby, 15-1. Minister Eric is next at 30-1. Master David Frankel sneaking in under the radar here at 12-1. St. Avril at 30-1. Another tough California horse. 15-1 on Imperialism. And again, those California horses, very tough to separate. The next group, the Cliff's Edge, I went 4-1, made him the slight favorite. 4-1 on the Cliff's Edge, 20-1 on Borrego, who's been a hot horse. A lot of people like him. 50-1 on Birdstone. Read the foot. I heard a woo on that one from Nick Zito. Read the footnotes in there at 12-1. He also hasn't raced since the Florida Derby. Smarty Jones 4.5-1 or 9-2. Very close between the Cliff's Edge and Smarty Jones as to who will be the favorite, in my opinion. Then we got Castledale, the Santa Anita Derby winner, at 15-1. Pollard's Vision, you talked about the one-eyed horse, at 20-1. Tappet, who was so impressive in the Wood, coming from last at 8-1. That's the third choice. Pro Prado at 30-1. Quentin's Gold Rush off that win in the Lexington at 20-1 from the outside post.
Mike, some think that Smarty Jones will go off the favorite, so what was it that swung you to the Cliff's Edge?
You know, it was very tough. You can't knock Smarty Jones' record. The Cliff's Edge got a little bit better number in the Bluegrass. Nick Zito has won the Derby twice, and the Cliff's Edge has won 2 races at Churchill Downs. Very, very close. That's what swung me.
We have the post positions. We have the morning line. Kenny?
Well, if Birdstone's going to go at 50, you should run to the window. Now, if you think Mike's gone crazy because your good horse has this big number, there's a formula he has to follow. You can't make everybody 5-1.
Well, in pari-mutuel wagering, it has to all add up according to percentages, which it does. And this year, more than any year in a long time, a lot of very legitimate horses at double-digit odds.
Hank Goldberg's following all this. Hank, what can you tell the players?
Well, Birdstone a couple of months ago would have been favored in this race, and he's 50-1. That's worth a couple of bucks. And it's interesting that Nick's third stringer at the beginning of the year, the Cliff's Edge, is going to be favored. I was very interested to see where Lionheart drew, because he's going to control the speed in the race, and I thought they were very smart to take the 3-hole, because none of the real challenging speed is going to be very close to him, and he should get the good trip, the inside trip down to that first turn and be in front at that point. Now, 2 of the 3 favorites in this race come out of the Florida Derby. But the Florida Derby was a race that I think for a lot of reasons you can throw out. Tappet wasn't really himself that day. The Cliff's Edge got in a lot of trouble early in the race, and while he ran a strong third, he was also bothered by the fact that the track was a little bit heavy because they didn't water it between races. They ran a grass race between the 2 races that were run on the dirt, so it was an hour in between races on the dirt. And of course, the race I really want to take a close look at again is the Louisiana Derby, because Wimbledon, I don't think, ran his race in the Santa Anita Derby. He ran on the outside, strong finish on that long stretch in New Orleans. The other horse, Borrego, I think he's been real steady. He was very wide in that race and ran a strong second there, and he was a strong second against Smarty. Guys, I could take anyone about 15 of these. Does that narrow it down?
Well, Hank can revise and extend his remarks as the week progresses, but we'll nail it down before the week's over. We're coming back with something you might know about unbeaten horses. Smarty Jones is the one this time. It's our Did You Know as Sports Center continues from Churchill Downs.
This ESPN presentation of Sports Center at the Kentucky Derby is brought to you by Citgo, fueling the greatest of American sports. By Visa, proud sponsor of the Visa Triple Crown. By Michelob Ultra, lose the carbs, not the taste. By Claiborne Farm, where champions begin. By Long John Silver's new Buffalo Chicken Planks. And by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Equibase.com, your official online source for racing information from entries to results and everything in between. Equibase.com is a service of Equibase Company, the thoroughbred industry's official database.
Back here at Churchill, you probably knew Smarty Jones is 6 for 6, but did you know, did you have any clue at all that just 4 have gone in undefeated and left undefeated? The first was Regret, the first filly to win. The next was Seattle Slew, the last, I should say, Seattle Slew, the Triple Crown champ, Randy.
Well, given post position draw, I think you're going to see Lionheart on the lead, Smarty Jones right behind him, getting the same kind of stalking trip he got in the Arkansas Derby. We'll see if the stretch runners can run him down.
Hear more on that on Wire to Wire. So who's it going to be? Smarty Jones, the unbeaten. Does he become another Seattle Slew? Or maybe Nick Zito with 2 entrants. Cliff's Edge was his late bloomer. The Cliff's Edge could be the one on Saturday. Tap it. There's beer and wood chips for all if he gets it done from the farm in Maryland. Or Patrick B. and Cone and Lionheart breaking from the 3 with all sorts of speed. It might be Master David, maybe the most consistent in the race, always up near the end. Or Bob Baffert and Jerry Bailey. Will the rich get richer if Wimbledon the Gray can get it done? We'll find out as the week progresses as we bring you towards Saturday's race. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For further verification of that, go to ESPN.com. SportsCenter is next in 3 to 1.